20 years have gone by in this amazing world we know as RuneScape, and over time, the way people have chosen to play this game has grown exponentially. From making accounts that are only made for non-combat skills, accounts that are purely made for PvP, and of course your run-of-the-mill main accounts. Even though all of these characters are made for very different purposes, they all have one very important thing in common: the completion of quests. Though the amount of quests completed may vary drastically, every person that has stepped foot into RuneScape has done at least one quest. Though with that being said, not many have completed them all. Let's take myself for example. In RuneScape 3, I've gotten 343 out of the 449 quest points available. So, why haven't I, in the last 15 years, decided to have finished all of the quests in RuneScape? Well, honestly, that's kind of a complicated question. And in today's video, we are going to discuss exactly why questing isn't very popular, what quests players even strive to complete, why quests have gotten where they are today, and finally, how you can make questing just a bit easier as well as more fun and enjoyable. But first, I wanted to take a moment to say thanks for watching. Obviously, I'm still very new to making videos about RuneScape, and I try my best to do what I can in my free time. So if you would like to see more content like this, let me know in the comments below, and feel free to subscribe. Anyways, let's get to it, shall we? Let's start with the big question. Why doesn't everyone simply finish every quest just like in other role-playing games? Surely you're given decent enough rewards to make them worth your while, right? Well, this question is a bit of a tricky one. Simply put, the answer is yes and no at the same time. You have to think, RuneScape has a lot of quests. To be exact, there are 259 in RuneScape 3 and 159 in OldschoolRunescape. Now, you might be thinking, wait, that's only 418 quests between both games. You could probably do them all in a year and just be done with it. Why has it taken you over 15 just for one? This is a really good question, and I'll get back to it in a moment. But let's counter that with another question. If I've just started playing RuneScape, can I start with just about any quest that I want? To which the answer is no. RuneScape is, at the end of the day, a open-world MMORPG, but you need certain requirements for certain quests, as well as finishing other quests to be able to start others. To which you might be thinking, well, okay, that makes sense. You have to have a certain quest path you have to follow then, right? No. And that's where this can get kind of tricky. RuneScape has and always will be a have it your way kind of game. So if you don't want to complete a lot of the main story quests, you don't have to. If you do, however, want to get some of the best prayers or magic spells in the game, you are going to have a long grind of quests that you need to go through. This, however, at the end of the day, is a good thing. This means that while you do still have to complete a long, grueling set of quests to be able to get some of the best things in game, you are actually going to have to work for it. And after I've said all of that, you're probably thinking that this is all great and that there's nothing wrong with the way quests are set up in RuneScape. But unfortunately, even after unlocking some of the most useful things in RuneScape, such as curses and ancient spells, where does that leave the rest of the quests? To which is the main reason why most people don't like questing too much. That being that these quests don't really offer much to players at the end of the day. And yes, there are some quests that you can complete right away when you start playing RuneScape that help you progress quickly, but when you get to a certain point of playing the game, the rewards become somewhat negligible, other than the fact that, hey, I got a quest point. And to a lot of the players in RuneScape, that seems to be a big letdown. What's the point of doing a quest that takes possibly an hour or two that doesn't give you a decent reward for your time other than some experience? And as we all know, time is everything in RuneScape, and most people will agree that if you're not doing it efficiently, you're not doing it right to begin with. On top of all of this, There are some other issues in RuneScape when it comes to quests. Specifically in RuneScape 3, you have a very intricate story, meaning that if you don't complete every quest in the order of its release date, you are likely going to miss a key part of the story. To go along with this as well, many players feel that quests are simply missing out on what could be some amazing animation. Most quests usually have cutscenes in them that have a similar look to a water painting. And while these graphics can look amazing, at the end of the day, they really make the player feel disconnected when the same sort of thing could have been animated into the game, giving the player a much more impactful experience. So if these are some of the opinions that most RuneScape players have, then what quests are actually worth doing? As I have previously mentioned, certain quests are basically required for in-game content. This being unlocks such as curses in RuneScape 3, such as the quest The Temple at Sentistan, as well as ancient spells in OldschoolRunescape with the quest Desert Treasure. At the end of the day, these are basically legends among quests within RuneScape. So what might getting into these quests look like for a normal player? Let's start with Desert Treasure, since this applies both to RuneScape 3 and OldschoolRunescape. Overall, the requirements to start Desert Treasure are pretty simple on paper. You need to have finished a set of 7 specific quests, as well as have a few skills leveled up a certain amount. Simply get those requirements and you'll be ready to go. Then, once you start Desert Treasure, it should take around an hour and a half to 2 hours to finish. Then, congratulations! You now have some of the best magic spells in the game. Moving forward, if RuneScape 3 is your thing, you can now start on the requirements for the Temple at Sentistan. And let's just say that this one is a bit more grueling. The Temple at Sentistan requires a completion of Desert Treasure, as well as over 20 other quests. While the quest Temple at Sentistan might not be as difficult as Desert Treasure, the requirements are really what get you. Once those are finished, you can finally start your way into the quest of Temple at Sentistan. And then, once you're finally finished, congratulations! You've just unlocked the best prayers in the game, known as curses. Now finally, after all of the time it took for you to finish both of these quests, you're finally well over 30 hours of just purely questing alone. Don't worry though, this is a really huge accomplishment and you should really be proud of that. So then, with all of the negatives that I've previously said about questing, where does that put questing at today? Questing today is done either out of boredom or necessity, whether it be finally for picking up your quest cape to eventually getting the completionist cape. Questing, unfortunately, has seemed to have gotten pretty boring and stale. And of course, with RuneScape being as old of a game as it is, players have developed plenty of ways for you to be able to find any guide for any quest by simply going onto the RuneScape wiki. Or, if you happen to be just an absolute Chad, you probably have RuneLite for Old School RuneScape, which allows you to access the insane plugin known as Quest Helper. This plugin essentially holds your hand through the whole questing process of Old School RuneScape and makes completing quests super simple. Unfortunately, however, RuneScape 3 doesn't have anywhere close to a similar system. There is, however, a plugin known as Alt1. While Alt1 might be great for helping you complete clue scrolls, unfortunately there isn't such a tool to help you with questing. The real only option you have is using Alt1 to open a browser on your RuneScape tab, and then use that to open the wiki in your peripheral vision. But either way, questing has gotten much easier as time has gone on, which means that questing could be completed by more people quicker and easier. However, it seems that won't be happening anytime soon. Quests are still, and will continue to be, an inconvenience to the average RuneScape player, meaning that the quest cape is still something you're most likely not going to see very often. Luckily though, there are still some ways that you can make questing more fun and engaging. Obviously, there's what we've just gone over. Those definitely make questing way more easy to the regular person. But if you need a push to get to questing, just remember that at the end of the day, RuneScape is a social game, Grab a friend and work on quests at your guys' own pace. It's always more fun doing things with a friend that keeps pushing you for the next objective. Or, even if you really don't want to deal with people, Old School RuneScape offers a quest speedrunning option for players if they want to optimize the fastest way to finish certain quests. So, there you have it. Now we've learned about why quests are the way they are in RuneScape. And if you have any other reasons you don't really like quests that much, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And if you have any suggestions for another video you'd like to see me make, let me know there as well. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you all very soon. Have yourself a good one.